I've read quite a few romance books this summer, so I'm going to tell you whether I recommend them based on a yes, no, or a maybe. Call It What You Want by Alyssa Daragotis. Yes, especially if you're a girl in your 20s and found yourself in a situationship. Read this. The Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, 100% yes. This was one of my favorite series I read this entire year. The only one that I would probably pass on would be Hopeless. In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. No. The male main character in this was so whiny, I actually could not deal. The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. I'm gonna say no. This is a little too young for me. If you are on the younger side, then yes, I would recommend this. If you are like 18 and up, I probably wouldn't recommend this. Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Yes, I think I will read anything that Elsie writes. I did love the Chestnut Spring series more. I did think this was good and I enjoyed it. Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. Absolutely not. This book put me in the biggest book slump of my entire life. I need a little bit more plot in my romance books. I just found that this book didn't have that. Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood. 100% yes. This was my first Allie Hazelwood book and it surprised me in the best way.
Here are some of the best fantasy romance books I've read recently that actually have an immaculate dose of spice coupled with like a very entertaining plot that doesn't make me want to put my head through a wall. So far in my 24 years on this earth, I have not found anything that brings me as much joy as a good, spicy fantasy romance. I made a video like this a couple months ago talking about some of my favorite fantasy romance books that had good spice in them. And you guys, like the pack of dirty dogs that you are, ate it up. So here are some more for you. These are not YA. These are not fade to black in any way, shape, or form. If you don't like spice in your books, you're probably not going to like these book recommendations. This isn't anything crazy. There's no like unhinged dark romance spice that is taking place in these books. These just aren't fade to black. It's not just a little bit of tonsil hockey, swap and spit. You're being fed the information of what is going on behind those closed doors, okay? If you're waiting for the day that I shut up about this book, you are wasting your time because I am quite literally never going to. This is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, and this is my favorite book that I've read in 2024 by far. I read this monster twice in 5 days. And I'm aware that that's not like entirely sane person behavior, but I have a book club on Fable called A Court of Smut and Escapism. This was my very first book club pick. I was like, it's really ambitious, it's really long. And then we ended up literally devouring it. I can't even put into words how unbelievably amazing this book was. The world building, the magic system, the magical creatures, the dragons, the characters, the like multi-layered aspects of this plot and these characters. This book was unexpectedly vulgar and gory and spicy. So well done. Like I was not felt like I was lacking in any way when I was reading this. I love a good badass assassin female main character, but the romance between her and Khan. And I am realizing as I go through these books that I'm recommending that every single one of them was one of my book club picks back to back to back to back. So clearly we read a lot of spicy fantasy romance in there, but I'm not gonna complain. Next up is the Book of Asriel and Throne of Broken Gods. I haven't read Dawn of the Cursed Queen yet. That's book 3 in the series. I absolutely devoured this book. The second one is Throne of Broken Gods. This one is definitely a lot spicier than this one was in terms of plot and in terms of actual spice, to be honest with you. This was crazy. This was some like revenge arc, Vampire Diaries, humanity switch turned off type shit. I don't even know how to put this into words. This one was crazy, but this one was also crazy. Honestly, I loved this book. I think I liked this one a little bit more than the second one. This is like a true enemies to lovers. In this book, Diana and Samkiel are literally like their species are each other's arch nemesis. Like they were created with the intent to destroy the other, like wipe them off the face of the planet. But as fate would have it, they have to work together in this book towards a common goal. And it's just like juicy. And the banter, Diana, our female main character in this, she's the morally gray one. She's the corrupt one. He is like a giant cinnamon roll that can like seriously do some damage. But almost like watching the way that she corrupted him in these books was so much fun to me. Definitely check your trigger warnings going into these ones because there's some gory shit going on in these pages. And then I needed to know what the hype was about on this one, Quicksilver by Callie Hart, because I had seen everybody and their dog recommending this so strongly to me on Book Talk, and I was curious. It was kind of like a little bit of a vampire romance, to be honest with you, and the spice in vampire romances is always like another level. If you know, you know. Fisher, or Kingfisher, the male main character, I am so down bad for him. He is in my like elite league of book husbands at this point. Honestly, he's up there with the Rhysans and the Xaidans. Their connection was so good. The banter, the importance of banter in these books can never, ever, 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 ever be understated because, oh my God, I am in desperate need of the sequel. Please. And last but not least, we have a spooky season fantasy romance that I just finished the other day and I am absolutely obsessed with. And that is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I rated this 5 stars. I didn't think I was going to going into it. A lot of people were like, oh, it's essentially the Hunger Games, but in like a haunted mansion. And I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. But I heard that it was between a human and a phantom. And I was like, how is that gonna work? It worked. I was not expecting this to be as like creepy and gory as it was, and I ate it up. It was so good. It was so unexpectedly good. When all the pieces fell together, I was sitting there physically having to pick my jaw up off the floor. Ophelia and Blackwell, again, the banter, you guys, the banter. The banter always makes for better spice too, because the build up to that moment is just... It had me giggling and kicking my feet the entire time I was reading this. It is so unbelievably perfect for Halloween season. That's it.
Here's some romance books that didn't make me cringe out of my mind while I was reading them. Despite being a lover of the romance genre, it's actually very difficult for me to find books that did not make me cringe, deeply cringe. But for these books, the cringe-o-meter was either very, very low or non-existent throughout the whole book. First, we have Between Friends and Lovers by Shirley Nobuobi. The cover will deceive you. This seems like it'll be a love triangle situation. It's really not. Our FMC is very inexperienced in the dating world, but I also loved how this book touched on mental health, the struggles of being a successful Black woman, and also the MMCs were just so lovely. We got 2 Jessica Joyce books next, You With a View and The X-Vows. You With a View is high school rivals to lovers, and then The X-Vows is second chance romance. Don't be present here and be anti-second chance romance. We don't do that, okay? Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. Now, if you don't like the pregnancy trope, I hate to break it to you. I don't think you're gonna like this one. However, it's also friends to lovers, so if you do like that, maybe give it a shot. Somehow the FMC in this book leaves with 2 baby daddies. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know. Listen, Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young is one of the best romance books that I read this year. I hate to say it again. Pregnancy trope. I hate to say it again. But this book is known as the pregnancy trope book that is going to make you not hate the pregnancy trope. Like, it's kind of like Gateway. You get what I'm saying? So if you're kind of doubtful, maybe dive in. There's also really good disability representation in this book. Next, we have our magical realism queen, Ashley Poston. This book, The 7-Year Slip, this is a book talk beloved. If you ever heard about this book, you've been living under Patrick's rock. This book is what made me realize I like magical realism in romance. I always knew I liked it in books. I just didn't know how good it could be for romance books. A new one added to the roster, Big Fan by Alexandra Romanoff. This book is so short. I read it in literally like 3-4 hours. The publisher 831 Stories just came out with another book, Hardly Strangers by A.C. Robinson, and I'm really excited to read this one. Like, it's gonna be prioritized on the TBR. This is a romance book with a political scandal backdrop, and our FMC is very much dealing with misogyny in the political sphere. So I don't really read a lot of YA romance, but Love Requires Chocolate by Raven K. Stringfield really scratched an itch in my brain. It follows this teenage girl who is studying abroad in Paris. If you have any teenagers or just anyone in your life that's looking for a really wholesome romance book, I think this will really hit the spot for them. This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I read this past summer, and y'all, talk about a beach read. This book is very messy. I mean, our FMC is literally in love with her best friend's brother. So do with that what you will. Now, what did y'all expect? I mean, every single one cringe was on absolute 0. Not a single thing in these books made me cringe. Not one. I mean that with my entire chest. Emily Henry and her books are a gift to this genre and a gift to the world. If you don't agree, literally exit. And then lastly, I have 2 Abby Jimenez books, Yours Truly and Just for the Summer. I'm gonna be honest, Part of Your World does not fit in this category for me. I really was not digging that first book. These 2, yes. Per usual, I'm not putting that stack back up on my lap. No. Too heavy. But I hope that you got some recs from this. And I hope that if you've seen me talk about some of these books before, you actually open your ears and start listening. How about that? I cannot believe I forgot 7 Days in June. That book was so good. I did not cringe at all. Also, Collide by Balcabra. I was really shocked that didn't make me cringe, because usually a hockey romance, that's gonna make me cringe. I had a great time with it. I'm about to read the arc for the 2nd book.
Romance books. These are my favorite. I am going to be sharing these with you guys because these literally had me running around my room, squealing, giggling, kicking my feet. These have all of my favorite book boyfriends, and so if you guys need a good book boyfriend, I got you guys. Okay, starting off with one of my most recent reads and favorite reads is Tell Me It's Right by Katie Wismer. This romance book literally made me so happy. I could not put this book down. I was obsessed with this story. It's a brother's best friend trope. It is a slow burn situation. It literally had like the perfect amount of spice, not too much, not too little. Literally a perfect romance book in my opinion. Look how obsessed. I tabbed like every other page. I thank my lucky stars that this is a series. This is book 1. I don't think book 2 is out yet, but when it comes out, I will let you guys know. If it is as good as this, I'm gonna be a very happy girl. Next is Brushing Off Business by Amira Denali. I literally talk about this book all the time on here because I am genuinely obsessed with this romance book. This is like Grumpy and Sunshine trope, except the girl is like the grumpier one and the guy is like the golden retriever Sunshine. Literally fell in love with this man. He is the perfect example of a healthy and stable man. And one of the reasons I fell in love with this book was because I felt like it was a very beautiful representation of a healthy relationship. None of that toxic stuff. I don't really like those kinds of like romance stories, but this was such a beautiful book. I loved it so much. Jess read her second book, Designs on You, and it was super cute. First one is still and probably will always be my favorite, but this series is super underrated. You guys should definitely check it out. I'm literally obsessed. Do I even need to say anything else? You guys know I talk about this all the time on here. Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This entire series is literally my heart. I'm obsessed with these characters. I'm obsessed with the plot. Such a beautiful romance story, but at the same time, it's not just a romance story. There are so many other things that are happening in this book that genuinely make it such a special book and series. You will forever be obsessed with this series. If you want a series that you can really like grow with and connect with, this is the romance series for you. This is so cute and it's for the girlies. I will stand by that. This is for the girlies. Also, Johnny Kavanaugh, I love you. I love you. Next is The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. This is a historical fiction romance and it is such a beautiful story. I cried so hard reading this. You don't understand. In my opinion, one of the most incredible romance stories I've been able to experience. Literally had so much to write about this in my review. I literally wrote, I can't think of one thing wrong with this book. I have no criticism for this novel, other than the fact that I wish it could have kept going because I was so sad it ended. I feel as if the kind of love in this story is the kind of love that everybody wishes that they could experience. And so I think that's why it was such a special story in my opinion. I was absolutely obsessed with this book. It makes sense. Next is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This is a fantasy and romance. So this is a romantasy book. Again, I fell absolutely head over heels in love for this man in this book. Has such a beautiful romance. It has slow burn, which is literally my favorite trope in a romance ever. He is literally obsessed with her, and that, in my opinion, is the only way it should ever be, which is why I loved this book. One of my favorite romantasy books ever. Not only does this book have a beautiful romance story, it is super cool. The plot is so entertaining. This book has dragons. It has action. Literally the perfect romantasy book right here, guys. Right here. If you want a new favorite book boyfriend, read this. Last, of course, A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the ACOTAR series. If you guys have not read that series, it is a very popular series and it is worth the hype. This man was my very, very first book boyfriend ever. So I think he will always be number one because he was always the first. This book is absolutely incredible. This is the second book and this is really where the romance unfolds and the love story starts. I literally just couldn't get enough. It's one of those books that is addicting and the romance story is like you want more, you want more, you want more, so you keep reading it. If you guys have not read this book or this series, please read it. It is worth the hype and you will fall in love. Okay friends, that is all for today. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys get to read some of these or have read some of these. Let me know in the comments which ones you guys read and which ones you guys want to read. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much and I will see you guys in the next video.